God, immortality of the soul, redemption, beyond, without exception, concepts to which I have never devoted any attention over time, not even as a child. Perhaps I have never been childlike enough for them. I do not by any means know atheism as a result, even less as an event. It is a matter of course with me from instinct. I am too inquisitive, too questionable, too exuberant to stand for any gross answer, and God is a gross answer, an indelicacy against us thinkers. At bottom, merely a gross prohibition for us. You shall not think. Now, this is not spoken by me, but by Friedrich Nietzsche. Interestingly enough, as an illustration or an example of nihilism. There's something that has crept into the human mind in the West, at least, this nihilism. We have Albert Camus who writes, "The literal meaning of life is whatever you're doing that prevents yourself from killing yourself." I mean, it sounds cool, doesn't it? Yeah, the philosophers, the poets. But this nihilism, that there's no meaning really, there's no God, there's no goodness, there's no beyond, it just is. And humans are a bunch of greedy parasites on Mother Earth. Well, this kind of general feeling there also of meaninglessness, of course, it's a result of materialism, materialistic philosophy. It breeds nihilism. Because in itself, it paints a universe, a world, an existence that is simply a little flash in an eternal, endless emptiness. If we didn't exist before we came here, and if we just stop existing when we leave, then sure, our existence here is meaningless then, yeah. Short, fragile, flickering. But this idea is a philosophy that goes against life itself and everything that we deep inside feel is true and real. Love and meaning and joy and life itself. Because that's what life is about, right? Someone may say, no, life is about suffering. It's just a mess. But do you really feel that deep inside? Do you feel that this is what your life is meant for? Meaningless suffering? Of course we don't. Nobody of us does that. It's just some kind of mannerism that we paint there on our personas. It's a materialistic idea. And it's been going on for decades. But many people now have started to kick that. I mean, just like we did when we were young, seriously questioning religion. Now many people are seriously questioning that materialistic concept too. And when Nietzsche said this thing that I am too inquisitive to stand for any gross answer, and God is a gross answer, an indelicacy against us thinkers, meaning that it's like a prohibition of free thinking. You should not think, you should not accept. But it's not about God as such. It's not God that is the problem. It's the religion that man grew up with, the culture he grew up with. Religion, a doctrine, a dogma where you are not supposed to think or question or explore. That is what he is talking about there. Now, whatever some church did or does not in any way affect or has much to do with God or the immortality of the soul or redemption or the beyond or whatever is beyond this world and whoever God is. And the nature of our soul and of ourselves has nothing to do with religion. religion has taken these concepts and tries to monopolize on them. And therefore, these, I would say, this is my view, I mean, these Western thinkers like Nietzsche and others, they reacted against that. But, I mean, come on, people, historically, look, the greatest thinkers, most noble philosophers and wise people in scriptures of the history, what are they dealing with? Well, the soul, the world beyond this, and God. But in a knowledge-based way, in another way than we have become used to here in the Christian culture. But those who even in that time, like Nietzsche and other famous authors and thinkers, they were studying the wisdom of India, the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishad and things like that, and they were amazed when they found the depth and the philosophical richness and sophistication of the Eastern wisdom. China too. They found a treasure there. And we see, I say that the world as it looks like today, where people, how they are dealing with each other and with animals and nature and even themselves, is a result of that nihilistic culture. I call it a disease because it goes against life. And that's what a disease does. It goes against life itself. And if you're living or trying to live a philosophy, an idea, a worldview that tells you that there ultimately is no life or that life is meaningless, then it goes against life. It goes against love, because then love is also meaningless. Or it's just a mating act, a necessity for survival. But when we say this now, it feels wrong, right? It doesn't resonate within our souls with anything in there. Basically the opposite, like a poison killing the soul. And we just become darker and darker and bleaker and depressed, as if we gradually just stop living. And some people who really dive into this understanding, well, what do? They actually stop living. So this is the point maybe that we have reached now, we humans. We sit here and we don't know, with all these pandemics here and climate crisis, environmental threats and all of that, and the world economy that is shaking. I mean, we have to be asleep to not see that we are in a bit of a precarious situation on this planet these days. And I am saying that this may have pushed humanity to this point where we need to seriously and deeply and practically question the basic paradigms by which we live our daily lives. We need to let go of the past. Let go of that old-time religion. Let go of that old-time materialist science. Question it all. But also question your biases. Why are you so afraid of God? Why are you so afraid of the soul? It's you. Nice one in there. And me and all of us. Hey, we're souls. We're not just robots. Isn't that nice? And what's wrong with or illogical with a world beyond this? It's even there in science nowadays, parallel universes and all of that. What's the problem? Oh, it's religion. Some people are just stuck in that kind of religion, science polarity. Either that one or that one, or I'm that one, I'm rational. But it isn't that simple. It goes deeper than that. And we should see it now, because that science that's promised to give us all answers and fix everything, the whole world into a beautiful paradise, what are they doing? sitting there looking at black holes out there, writing books and making big, nice, colorful videos of how the universe looks like far away out in the galaxy clusters out there. Meanwhile, life on Earth has lost its ways, I would say. Just now led by some huge corporate monsters that roam around across the surface of the earth, eating up everything in their way. No brain there, just profit-generating machines. And those who are actually intelligent, what are they using their intelligence for? Yeah. So, you could say this is a war against nihilism, not against any people, but against dysfunctional ways of thinking that produce dysfunctional ways of acting, that produce a dysfunctional world.